Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Read Aloud with me, Miss Cope. Today is Friday, and it is May 15th. Congratulations, fifth graders and everyone out there. You made it through another week of online learning. You are here with me because we are going to continue reading It Ain't So Awful Falafel by Feroze Dumas. We left off on the chapter Poo Poo. And I know you're excited to find out what this chapter is about. So am I. All right. Oh, today is Neon Day. So I have a little bit of neon underneath my sweater or coat here. The only neon that I own, actually. But that is why I'm wearing it. When I woke up the next morning, I realized that Newport Beach is really starting to feel like home. I think about all the fun I had with Carolyn and Rachel, and I can't believe that for the first time since we came to the U.S., I have friends. I like all my classes at Lincoln. Even PE isn't too bad anymore. We're getting ready for something called the Presidential Physical Fitness Test. We run, hang from bars, and do sit-ups while Coach McAndrew blows her whistle a lot. Everyone hates it except me. We don't have to pick teams, and there's no tumbling or dodgeball. Then boom, just like that, my dad bursts my happy bubble. He tells me that the sons of his former co-worker, Mr. Shustari, are coming to stay with us for 2 weeks. They want to go to college in America, and their father has asked us to host them. He's an engineer like my dad, except that he's rich. Mr. Shustar owns 2 vacation homes in the south of France and an apartment in London. Everyone knows that people like him take bribes, but that's just a part of life in Iran. Accepting bribes is a job skill, like knowing how to type or use a copy machine. My dad says that Mr. Shustar really knows how to work the system. I wish the 2 brothers weren't coming to stay in our house. It's going to be a lot of extra work for my mom and for me, of course, too, since I have to help her. I don't get any say in that. I never have a say in anything. My parents are not like Mr. and Mrs. Brady on TV who constantly talk to their kids about their feelings. Even their maid, Alice, is always asking, "So dear, how do you feel about this?" My parents just tell me what to do. How I feel about something doesn't matter. My dad says the boys, Pooya and Pooyan, are 19 and 20 and have never been to America, but they speak some English. That's good because I do not want to be a translator for any more people, especially 2 strange boys whom I already dislike. As soon as I see Carolyn at lunch, I tell her about their impending visit. 2 complete strangers for 2 weeks. That's a long time. That's how it is with Iranians. Guests stay for as long as they want. It's part of something called taarof. If someone asks you for a favor, you can't say no. You always say yes to be polite, even if you don't mean it. That's crazy, Carolyn said, unwrapping her sandwich. When we lived in Compton, my uncle, Fatola, came to see Disneyland and stayed for a year and a half. That is quite the visit. That wasn't taarof because we were happy to have him, but that's the tricky part. You can't tell when an offer is a taarof or when it's real. Someone might invite you and not mean it. You have to figure out what the person really means. It sounds like a riddle, Carolyn says. It kind of is. On the day they arrived, my dad and I drove to the Los Angeles airport to pick up Pooya and Pooyan. The airport is an hour away, but that doesn't bother my dad. He loves driving on American freeways. No potholes and lots of signs, he always says. But even though there are signs, we get lost. All the freeways have east and west and north and south, so while we get the number right, we still manage to go into the wrong direction. By the time we figure out how to get back on the freeway, we're an extra half an hour away from the airport at least. This happens every time we go somewhere. My dad says we get to see more of America that way. My mom hates the freeways. She thinks they're too confusing and the cars go too fast. Luckily, my dad always leaves an hour earlier than we need to, so I'm not worried about getting to the airport on time. Smart man. Eventually, we were at the gate waiting, watching all the passengers. I noticed two guys wearing really tight jeans and a shiny gold necklace. Right then, I think, dear God, I hope that's not them. They come up to my dad and say, Salam, Mr. Yusuf say. Ugh. They're tired from their long flight, so they don't say much during the drive home, which is fine with me. What is not fine with me is that they stink. Their cologne smells like the water from my goldfish bowl mixed with that smell in the doctor's office before you get a shot. I roll down my window so I can breathe. When we get home, they give us a bunch of gifts, all of which smell like them. They give me, my mom, a Persian miniature painting, a package of dried limes for stew, and a box of pistachios. The pistachios on top are really big, and all the rest underneath are tiny. All packages of pistachios from Iran are like that. Pooya and Pooyan give me a traditional Persian villager costume. It's a shiny purple, blue, and red skirt and a blouse with small coins sewed all over it. There are also a little beanie that has lace with more sparkly things on it. Thank you, I love it, I say. That is a 100% taarof. Pooya and Pooyan smile. They don't care. What am I going to do with a traditional Persian village costume in Newport Beach? Possible scenarios. Person handing out full-size Butterfinger bars on Halloween. And what are you dressed as, young lady? Me. Oh, this is just a traditional costume from the Rast region of Iran. Person handing out full-size Butterfinger bars to everyone but me. I don't know where that is, but I assume you'd prefer a piece of fruit for your camel. As I'm putting away the useless costume, I wonder if Pooya and Pooyan know that their names are totally rude in English. When you learn English in another country, you don't learn words like poo. You learn polite words like, excuse me, sir, where does the bus arrive? Or, could you, madam, kindly guide me to the main directory? You learn things that no one actually says in America. That's why, even though my dad knows English, he can't talk to any Americans. He knows the English in books, not the English that comes out of people's mouths. That is true. There's different types of English. Conversational English, but there's also English you read in books. My mom started cooking for the two Pooh brothers days before they arrived. She washed, dried, chopped, and fried cilantro, parsley, onions, eggplants, and scallions. Oh, that sounds good. I had to help her peel and clean the vegetables and herbs, and then wash and dry all the extra dishes. There were a lot. After we thanked them for the gifts, my mother says the food is ready. We all go to the dining room. My mom has set up the table. The boys ooh and ah. May your hand not hurt, they say. That's a Persian expression you say when someone has done a lot for you. No, my mom says, this is nothing. We sit down and my mom passes the plates of food around. I wish I could have made more, but it's so hard to find ingredients here, she says. I wish you didn't say that, but that's taarof. Oh no, this is wonderful, the brothers say, echoing each other. This doesn't even count, my mom responds. It counts for me. I was the one stuck helping her clean all those herbs and dishes. I hate taarof. The Pooh brothers take some rice, 2 kinds of stew, and some chicken. We all start eating, and my dad asks them about their plans. They tell him how excited they are to see school here. Then they take seconds. Less conversation this time, just my dad lecturing them about useful college majors. The Pooh brothers are not listening. Then they take thirds, cleaning out the rice platter, both stew containers, and the rest of the chicken. My mom is so happy. I'm not. It's like watching vultures eat an entire zebra on the National Geographic special. That's quite the image. I have so much to tell Carolyn. Next chapter. An afternoon with John Wayne and Elvis Presley. This should be interesting. The next day, after the Pooh brothers finally wake up, my mom tells me to take them to the pool. We're not allowed to let guests go by themselves. That's in Chapter 4, Pool Rules. All guests must be accompanied by a resident. It's Saturday afternoon, and the last thing I want to do is spend the day with these two. Just my luck, they actually want to go. I think about asking Carolyn to come with me, but decided not to. I'm just too embarrassed. I have been in Newport Beach for less than 6 months now, and I have the 2 biggest weirdos in the world staying with me. The Pooh brothers go to their room to change and come out a minute later. I think I'm going to barf. Their bathing suits are like teeny, tiny bikini bottoms. I have never seen a man in America wear such a thing. To make things worse, the brothers are way hairier than any man I have ever seen. Ugh. It's like King Kong and his brother, Ding Dong, are visiting us for the sole purpose of ruining my new life. The brothers keep saying how they're so excited to go to the pool to meet California girls. I pray that no one I know is there, especially Original Cindy. Pooya says that he's going to call himself Elvis. He thinks California girls really like Elvis Presley, so this will help him meet them. I don't think anything will help him. Pooyan says he is going to tell the girls his name is John, like John Vane. When we get there, I sit by the barbecues to do my math homework and acting as if I came by myself. Chapter 4, Pool Rules. Just say we have to accompany our guests to the pool. It does not say we have to hang out with them or admit to knowing them. I glance at the brothers who are setting up their towels next to a group of girls. Ew. I take out my math worksheet and my eraser and sharpen 2 pencils. I take another quick peek at the brothers. The girls have moved to the other side of the pool. At dinner, Pooya says that the girls at our pool are too young and do not appreciate men. He asks me if any of my friends have older sisters. I pretend I don't hear him. When he asks me again, I try changing the topic. Tell me about your necklace, I say. The brothers were identical, huge gold charms shaped like Iran with turquoise stone where Tehran is. My mom gave us these so we never forget where we're from, Pooya says. That's lovely. My mom says, I don't think it's lovely at all. What kind of person forgets where he's from? I could live in America for the rest of my life and I would never forget my aunts, uncles, and cousins in Iran. I could never forget Persian food or the Caspian Sea. The Caspian Sea is the most beautiful place I have ever seen. We used to go there every summer for a week with my cousins. It was a 2-day drive, but that was a part of the fun. The closer we got, the greener it got. We rolled down the windows and sniffed the air, which smelled completely different from Abadan. Abadan did not smell nice. You know when your mom or dad spills gasoline on their clothes when they're pumping gas and then gets back in the car? That's what Abadan smells like. During lunch one day, Howie told me the scent of oatmeal raisin cookies reminds her of home. I told her that for me, it will always be the scent of gasoline. When we first moved to California, we couldn't wait to see the beach. The first weekend after we moved in, we took the freeway to Long Beach, got out and ran to touch the water. It was so cold. We stood there looking around and there were no seashells and it didn't smell like Caspian Sea. We only stayed about 15 minutes. There was something missing. On the drive home, my dad said, isn't it strange how you can actually miss a place, not just people? I feel that way about Vermont, the place that I grew up in when I was younger. Was in Burlington, and we had lots of lilac bushes, and I could just remember that smell. It reminds me of being young in Vermont. All right, friends, so we're going to stop there. The next chapter is called Mount Laundry. Curious to see what that's going to be about. So we learned that chapter Poo Poo is about the 2 brothers that come to town, Pooya and Pooyan. They're quite the characters. They think it's cool. They think that the girls will like them in America if they're like Elvis Presley or John Wayne. I think that's so interesting, that the sometimes misconceptions you have about people in different countries. You know, what we see on TV or in the media kind of shapes what we think about certain people or certain places. in different countries. So that's interesting. I will see you all on Monday. It's Friday, so enjoy the weekend. Get outside, have some fun with your friends and family, and thank you for always tuning in and always watching. I really appreciate it. You all are amazing. So, toodles for now, and see you next time.